the growth of the stock, when you come to the denominator, all your efforts are wasted because the G is greater than K. Life is miserable, right? People bet on dividend discount model. For this kind of scenarios, you get split the dividend discount model, right? Maybe confusing for you. We will do one. Before we get here, it's been quite long session, right? Okay. We have not talked much about required rate of return, right? What will be the required rate of return? If you want to be in equity, the required rate of return is determined by the benchmark of the equity. If you want to be in Indian market, the benchmark is Sensex or Nifty or something like that. What we can do is that the price of the Nifty, this is particularly S&P 500, very old data, 1150, and you know the dividend history of the particular index, go back and look at the average dividend, that is 2%. We are looking for K, in some place it's called R, okay, and you know the historic growth. So you solve this, then you get the required rate of return determined by the price of the market today. If the price of the problem with this computation is that now tomorrow it goes up by another 10%, the required rate of return totally changes. So if you go by what do you call this formula? The required rate of return determined by the market, which is called the implied expectation from the market, right? Is going too high, or what is imbibed in the market? What return market tells you? Any questions, please? Look, too silent is scary for me. It's like getting into, what is that? The Booth Bangla, right? The old movie actually. You're going alone and then there's nobody. The silence actually kills me. Yeah? Are we getting what I'm trying to say? This one way of capturing, there are many ways of capturing the required rate of return. If you want only the risk-free return, what is the number? I want only risk-free return. I don't want to get into this. Indian market is SATA, I don't want that. I want only risk-free return. Please tell me what could be the return. I don't want to be in the market. Bloody, it looks complicated to me. S&P value this side, dividend historically, growth.
5 years FD return.
5-year FD return. Makes sense. I was expecting this answer long back actually. So, the risk-free, what is risk-free? What is risk-free? He said treasury bonds, 10-year bond, if it's available. Sovereign bonds are there, 30-year bond is available in India. And he is saying FD. I am saying no. G6. Why FD is not risk-free? Forget that. You are taking the best of the banks, AAA, rated Spanish bank. Yeah. Why FD is not risk-free? What is the risk basically? You don't get the number given by the bank. They tell you 7% return, right? If you don't get that 7% return, there is a risk. I am saying the bank is safe, okay? Which bank is safe, I don't know now. So JP Morgan also is not safe, and Citi is also not safe. And if the bank, let us take that the bank is 100% supported by government and it's a sovereign return. Okay, even then, it is not risk-free. Why? No. Let's not get finicky. I'm giving you utopian scenario. Never existed in this globe anymore. If you are putting the bank money, you have already, Dilip, you have told me FD is risk-free. Now it's up to you to defend this. I am saying it is not risk-free.
No, not fully
Not fully risk free. Okay, what risk you have got into
No, above 1 lakh, entire amount is.
Okay. There is no insurance scheme, deposit insurance scheme for that. That's okay. You are putting less than 1 lakh. Okay, I'm giving you that benefit also. Your wife 1 lakh, your son 1 lakh, your mother 1 lakh, mother-in-law 1 lakh. That's risky, right? Mother-in-law giving. The risk it's not risk free. Totally the money will go. Okay. So like that you split all your investments and then put it. Still I'm saying it is not risk free. Why is that? Very simple question I'm asking, right? You can't answer this. This is little more. You come closer.
They will charge penalty for.
Okay. What is okay?
So liquidity is there in government bonds.
FD there is no liquidity. Okay. And the most of the classes when I conduct it, there is always a big yeah, I knew this, but I didn't get there. That is the problem, right? So I put 1 year or 3 year, 5 year FD, and when you renew that after 3 years or 1 year or your time horizon, when you renew that, the interest rates have fallen. So the FD, I'm not talking about the bank or anything. The instrument itself has inherent risk of reinvestment. Reinvestment risk is there. So the FD is not a risk-free technically. And he's saying that I'll put it in 5-year GSEC. What is the risk into that? Same, reinvestment. The coupons you get out of GSEC cannot be deployed in the same expected return. Then what is risk-free? How will you define risk-free? Now you have come to a stage, you can't define risk-free, leave alone risk premium. Isn't it? If nothing is risk-free, then there is no need for a class actually. We'll have lunch and go. Isn't it? And theoretically, if your investment horizon is 10 years, the zeros, 10-year zeros or deep discounted bonds or the risk-free instruments, which is probably may not be available in the market. So you don't have to worry about it, but you should know about it. Okay. So risk-free plus then you move into fixed income side. Then there is a risk premium for fixed income instruments and there is a risk premium of equity. And then there is a risk premium of stock. Yeah. So you move in this fashion, isn't it? So when you come back to this actually, if anybody wanted to be in the equity market, he has to take the risk of the equity market. What is that? The performance of the market. If the market historically has given you 18% or something like that, and what is the standard deviation of market, you should be ready to take up that standard deviation of the market, period. If you are not there, then you are not supposed to be in that. Your risk appetite is less than what market, your heart actually pounces along with the BP rate goes along with the fluctuations of the Sensex, then you are not fit for the market. So that's what when I was in Birla Sun Life, they used to ask me, what risk you can do for this? Market is, one day, when the government changed, they tanked by 20% in 10 minutes flat. Before I could reach office, the market is down and closed. Then the fund managers asked me, you are the risk manager, and what do you suggest now? The suggestion is that if you want to be in equity, you are supposed to take the risk of that equity, as simple as that. If you can't take that, the volatility, okay, gyrations of the market, you can't be in the market. So the risk premiums are defined accordingly. Risk-free, you want to be in the bond market, slight increase in the bond market risk, reinvestment risk or prepayment risk and stuff like that. Then you move into the equity market risk. Warren Buffett, this you can read actually, I don't want to waste my time. There is another way of looking at the premium is, you take a analysis of the participants and make a risk premium accordingly. So, I think, So if the dividend for the next year is $7 and the required rate of return is 14% and the G is 4%, the price of the stock is $70. As simple as that. But if you want to define the required rate of return, is risk-free rate into risk premium into the beta of the stock, isn't it? Risk-free rate, we are talking about D1 K minus G, we are talking about K. Okay? The required rate of